Hi, everyone. I just came on. I got a question today on one of my videos. Somebody just left a comment, and I thought, well, wouldn't this be an interesting video subject? I'll discuss it the next time I go live. So we'll cover this topic at the beginning and then use it as a starting off point, I guess, for our conversation tonight. So it's interesting. I had a period of time where I did get sucked into this, where I was, subscribed to and watching different tarot readers on YouTube. And there was a time when I was doing it myself, participating in that. I didn't have the same kind of consistency, but it was something that I was doing for quite some time, and I had clients and that kind of thing. But just regarding the phenomenon of online readings, you really do need to be careful about watching these and getting into these, because it really can stagnate you. And I think this person reached out to me about it, obviously, because it's something that she's struggling with. These kind of or this kind of content really can be destructive, because it allows people to live kind of vicariously through the excitement of the readings and the energy that the reader is giving. So, regardless of what your situation is or what you're going through, people have different stresses in life. And when people are usually seeking out tarot advice, they're either wanting to know about their finances or their, romantic life, both, or just their relationships in general. Like, those are the most common things people want to know about: their finances, career. They want to know about their interpersonal relationships, and they want to know about love. And that's what these tarot readers that are here and on other platforms really do. And they make these videos where they'll have different ways that they're orienting the videos. Oh my goodness. Do you struggle with watching these, Kira? Well, yeah, they're addictive. Okay, so you find a reader you like, you feel like the messages coming through resonate for you. But again, this is often, and maybe the messages are, meaningful to you. But the thing is, people are all going kind of through the same things and wanting a lot of the same things. So what I found over time was that I wasn't getting anything out of watching these readings anymore, because every reading was the same. It had the same kind of trajectory, and kind of starting to become aware of that was helpful. And I found also it was keeping me in my feelings, especially anytime anything came up around, like, relationships or dating. It made you think that, I don't know, it wasn't good for that either. It kind of put a lot of ideas in my head and made me ruminate or like think about things with people that, things were over with. And that just wasn't healthy as well. It was a way of holding on when I needed to be letting go and moving on. So I think it really gets people stuck in those kind of patterns as well. because you keep hearing and like reliving the feelings through these readings. And the reality is this is like a thing produced for thousands of people to watch usually, or, in my case, hundreds, but depending on the size of the channel and, the scope of the reader. Yeah. And the other thing about it too, I mean, you want to think about like the production of these things, and these readers are doing them sometimes daily or weekly. It's quite a lot. And the reality is being involved in like psychic work is very draining. It really is very, very draining. And I'm always suspicious of anyone who does these like really intense readings all the time, how they're even functioning, because it does take a toll on you to read for someone. It's an energy exchange. And so these kind of generic readings, there's always something kind of like strange to me when people can churn out this many readings and do it so generically. It's kind of gimmicky. So any sort of like meaning or connection or like personal touch is lacking. And that's why it's really delusional to be watching this. I mean, you have to realize that you're being delusional watching this stuff, getting into this stuff. You really have to understand that unless you've like paid an individual to like set your cards out for you, you're getting a generic reading for everyone with your sun sign generally. And that's just, it's ridiculous. So like I said, if you've seen, one video, you've seen them all, and you start to realize that over time, if you're really paying attention to the messages that are coming through. Like, it's the same, and the same readers, you'll have multiple readers that you're probably watching. You have to ask yourself too, why is it not enough? You watched a reading yesterday. Why do you need to watch another reading today? Is that like what was wrong with the messages that came through? Why are you seeking all the time? What are you really seeking? You're taking this thing and you're making it really profane. You're treating like something that's supposed to be otherworldly and, esoteric as like commonplace as well. I think that's another thing about it. You're taking this and you're cheapening the art form, for one. And then on top of that, you're like, but you're propagating it as well. So like, you're taking it seriously, but at the same time, you're devaluing it. Is my cat looking outside? Yeah, he is. Oh, there's some crows flying, aren't there? Do you see them birds? You see them birds? You see them birds. Oh, let me see this. Oh, interesting. Mind forward. That's very common too. Yeah, I've noticed that well with some channels, which is interesting because the majority of people into this stuff are women. So it's like, why are you even leading with that? But I mean, it does get views. I mean, I don't wish to denigrate women that are interested in this stuff, but like, look at what's, look at the mentality of like a lot of them, if that's what you're leading with, It's again something to be suspicious of. Like if that's how you have to sell yourself as a reader, that's I mean, you know, I don't know. I'm thinking about a lot of them. There were, when I was into watching this stuff, you know, I watched a lot of older women, um, who, you know, they made an effort, they looked nice, but they weren't, you know, looking that way. And I think, um, that's just about like views and that kind of thing. When, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. The devil is seductive, right? And he'll use whatever means might get you in. So for some people, they see that this like witchy looking chick with her boobies out, and she's like cute, you know, they're going to be interested and drawn in. No, not the yoga pants. Didn't someone ask me about yoga pants the other day? I was so offended. I can't remember where it was, if it was here or somewhere else, but yeah, I was like, I don't own any yoga pants. Like, why would you even think I had yoga pants? Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. That's another thing. There are people that do that as well, but I am of the opinion that you can't mix the two, you know, which is why I've stopped doing readings myself. Like, I did it for years and I won't do it anymore because I just, I was convicted of it that I needed to give it up, that it wasn't the right thing. And this is the thing, what are you really seeking? Because a lot of times people are addicted to watching these things because they're spiritually hungry, you know? You're spiritually hungry. So you're drawn to something spiritual, and maybe you have some uncomfortability with traditional religion as you see it, and so this kind of thing is, it draws you in. And the problem with it is it's not sustainable spiritually. It doesn't do anything but make you more hungry. And you have to realize that. Like, have your spiritual has your spiritual nourishment came? Have you been fed spiritually by what you're doing? Yes or no? I mean, a lot of people can't even ask themselves that or answer that honestly. You know, if you were, why do you have to watch so many different readings all the time? Wouldn't one tell you enough? Because they're all dealing with the same things. Why do you think, and why are you spying on the universe all the time as well? You know, they talk about the universe, but you know, like, why are you needing all of this confirmation and all of this information? Why can't you just trust? Why can't you just like do what today is asking of you and trust? And, you know, it's strange. Hello. You have a new photo? Nice. Nice. Ooh, Vixen. Very nice. It was you. It was you. It's okay. No, I wasn't offended. Yeah, you can't really reconcile it. Like the two don't go together. We're not to do divination. We are not to practice divination. Why can't we trust in God? You know, it's again, yeah, it's there's something, that's the thing about it. It's not good for you because you're not trusting in something reliable. You're putting your trust in something else. and you're wanting to know how to spy and manipulate situations and know things that you aren't meant to know. That's the other thing. Like all the time, people want a reading and they want to ask, like, what does this other person think about me? How do they feel about me? It's like, you aren't actually meant to know that. Did you know you might not want to know that? Did you know that, like, that can change in an instant? But people just want to know so bad, like, how do they feel? Have you tried asking them? Like, again, it keeps you weak. It keeps you weak. That's so true too. Yeah. I found that as well. Just like, it's a lot of like just deeply unaware or unrooted people, and it's hard though. It's an interesting life. But again, like I said, I don't trust these readers that just churn out all this stuff. Like, when I was doing readings, I would need to recover in between readings. It was physically exhausting to do. It's not so easy to just churn it out. So you have to like really question like the quality of even the vessel, the oracle. Indeed. Indeed. It's an interesting way of thinking about it. I mean, I don't know. Then again, I'm like, I don't regret, studying it and learning about it. I don't regret that I did and have that knowledge about it. But people make an idol of this, They make an idol of these freaking cards. You're putting, again, like these cards before God. You're putting them before what really matters. You're putting your trust in something very flimsy. And you also have to understand, like, the fact that it's addictive too, and it's, not spiritually feeding you. You have to keep coming back and getting more and more. You have to come to awareness about that. Like, what kind of spirits are motivating that kind of behavior? Are those the kind of spirits you want in your life? Sorry, I'm removing my nail polish right now. It's Friday and I'm doing my nails. So just to see how she'd frame me, it was entertaining. I think, yeah, it can be entertaining. Definitely that. I definitely, when I got into it, I started following all these different readers, and the entertainment quality of the reader mattered. How they did their thing, that they had some kind of charisma or interesting way about them. That mattered to me. Okay, so let's get to like how to stop watching them. For one, stop clicking on them. You see that video come up that sounds juicy or spicy with that like evocative title that's like putting you in your feelings, making you think something, making you feel some kind of way. Don't click on it. Don't do it. Do not do it. The devil's telling you to click on it. Don't click on it. Secondly, unsubscribe from the channels you have subscribed to, because I guarantee if you have an addiction, you will have subscribed to many different readers. And I know you want to support these people. You think, hey, they haven't done anything wrong to me. This is about me. Nope, shut up, turn it off, unsubscribe. Deep in your heart, you know what they're doing is wrong. If they're going to keep tempting you with that, unsubscribe. Okay? Like, just let it go. Maybe do a fast. Do a fast. Don't go on YouTube or whatever platform you're watching these videos on. Don't use it for a few days. Don't open the app. Don't go to the website. Don't visit. Do something else. Other piece of advice I would give. Pray. Pray for deliverance from the desire to want to watch these videos. Ask the Holy Spirit to renew your mind. Ask the Holy Spirit to renew your mind. You're going to start to see things more clearly after you ask that. You're going to start to see the wickedness in it. You're going to start to put together why it's wrong in your own mind. But you've been clouded. You've been led to think that, this is okay. It's popular. It's trendy. All these different influencers do it. Even Terry used to do it. So, there's probably something to it. And there very well is. I don't want to deny it. But where are these messages coming from? And is it good for you? And honestly, are you getting anything out of it except more hunger? How spiritually hungry are you? And what are you really looking for? Why do you keep looking in the wrong places for that? You want peace, you want assurance, you want comfort. Why are you going to that? Why aren't you going to God? Ask yourself that. Why am I putting the creation before the creator? Why am I trying to understand things in such a primitive way? When I have access to the truth, the light, the way, when I have trust, faith, that's way more powerful than any good reading that you get that hits all the points and sees all the things and makes you see things in a different light or puts things to rest for you in some way. Why don't you just have that already? It's because you don't have God. It's because you're looking in the world for your fulfillment. You're putting the worldly things before the righteous things. And so these readings are exciting. But that they're taking now from you more than they're giving. Because every time you click on them, every time you watch them, every time you invest your time and energy into them, you're getting drained and you're getting weaker. You're not growing in your strength. You're not growing in any capacity spiritually. It's just a crutch. And it's also holding you back because it's, it's a crutch you should have given up a long time ago. And it's also like keeping you stuck in feelings and thoughts that should have been gone, should have been dealt with by now, should have been like put behind you. You're just dredging up the past, reliving it, getting a rush from it, and then like getting put back down. You have to like recognize the emotional thrills you're getting when you watch this stuff, what it's doing to you emotionally, and the exhaustion and draining of that for you, for your vessel, for your spirit. Whew. Oh me, oh my. Yeah. I'll be like, this person is going to talk to you again soon. They're going to reach out. They want to speak to you. They want to see you. They miss you. All the things you want to hear that aren't true. Because honestly, if that were the case, you wouldn't be seeking that there. Like, and how wicked for you to even know that. What if they are missing you? Does that change things? Well, they can a bit. Certain signs are more associated with that than others. There's certain signs that are known for that kind of energy more than others. So, but take it with a grain of salt. But don't let that hold you back, Goodness. Okay. I have one more nail to get this off. I had some glitter on my nails. Anytime I use a glittery nail polish, it's usually difficult to remove. So that's the other thing about the tarot readers. They always have like their nails did. I used to like see these certain ones with like the very crazy tacky nails with like lots of things glued to them. Be like, oh, here's this crazy girl with her Starbucks and her like water bottle and her like, I'm imagining one of them right now, her bubbly personality and her dogs, and she always had her hair kind of blown out, so she had like a blowout, and she'd have cleavage every time, and the camera angle would be in such a way to accentuate the cleavageness. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Pardon me. I always just remembered like the nails. I'd be like, oh, what's sis got on her nails? I never subscribed to this person though, because I would be like, I just couldn't justify. I didn't like her readings at all. I found her like personality obnoxious, but just her style and her nails, I was always kind of fascinated. I am fascinated by the like really crazy nails. Something about them draws me in, but I just can't imagine having that much stuff on my nails, I do them. I like them to be, to look nice. Obviously, I spend a lot of time and energy and money on my nails, but yeah, I don't know. A lot of it I can't get into, like the crazy talons glued on bits, multiple layers of stuff. I don't know. It's weird to me. Okay. Now there it is. Okay. Let me catch up with the chat. I can't believe I left that up. That's hilarious. Interesting. Why didn't you? That would have been funny. Are you winning, son? Yep. That's so true. Good point. If you listen to the woman, you will suffer. I mean, back in, it's an ancient thing, every village would have a cunning woman who was like, a crone who was learned and had knowledge of things, and usually was some kind of hermit. And people would go to her for different healings or help with understanding certain things. It's a human archetype, but yeah, generally the advice she would give would not be like, again, cunning, not smart. Terry, believe in the signs. I mean, I studied astrology, so I understand it. I don't put my faith in it. I don't, stake my life on it. I think there's something to it. I think there is something to astrology. Definitely believe in it. But again, it's not something that I think one should be too invested in. And I don't think it's something that one should put all of one's faith in, because it's, again, putting the creation before the creator, and therefore doing things in the wrong way. Oh, I know, that's so like, and why would you want to when there are people that desire you anyway? Like, just work with, like, again, it's like, work with what is working for you. Like, why do you want to, again, control somebody else or step in the way in front of somebody else's free will? It's not right. Do I think that the signs have any way of guiding anyone without their knowledge? Yeah, I do. I suppose. I think that, like, I'm talking about this. If you're talking about somebody's sun sign, in astrology, your sun sign would be your basic role in the community that you're a part of, the role that you take naturally, the kind of position you fall into when you're engaging with the collective. So I've never seen that be wrong about people. It's always made sense. It'll manifest in different ways. But again, these things are just like, there are certain energies that are in certain places. You have to really like dissect a person's chart to know exactly how it's going to impact them. But again, I've never seen that be something that I couldn't see. But again, astrology is very individual when it comes down to it. But yeah, even on the basic thing, which most people know, like what sign their sun, or most people know what sign the sun was in when they were born. Okay. So if you ask a person like, hey, what's your sign? They're going to tell you what they're born under, what sign the sun was in when they were born. That is one fraction of an individual's, astrological makeup. And it gets really intense when you bring in, different asteroids, different stars. It's, I have, again, this is one of the reasons why I gave it up. It is not, to me, spiritually sustainable, because the more you get into it, the more you want. It's an insatiable kind of thing. So again, I think there's something to astrology, but at the same time, I don't think it's worthwhile to get invested in it and believe in it past a certain point, because again, that's making an idol out of something. And when you do that, when you put that much emphasis and energy into this, you are making it degenerate. And you're also you're practicing evil. Women definitely invented this. Okay. I don't think so. I'm sure women were involved, but astrology is ancient. It was practiced by almost every culture. The age of cosmology, in human history during the Stone Age, people were very invested in astrology. They believed these things very strongly, and they're practiced. Even Ronald Reagan believed in astrology, and Nancy did anyway, and she she very heavily invested in it after the assassination attempt, which was predicted by their astrologer. So, people do put a lot of stock into it because it is able to predict a lot of interesting things. The mama spirit was in Reagan. Let's be real, Terry. What I'm saying about this is I don't think women invented it. I think women get into it because women are better oracles than men generally. We're just better vessels for the, stuff to come through, because we're the weaker vessel in that capacity. Spirits come through us more easily. Okay, you want to get into the spiritual side of it. That's why women are more often, they just fall into this more easily, because we are more often away with the fairies, as it were. We get swept up and overtaken. This is interesting. Well, they were made with, I think humans have interpreted part of God's handiwork here. So I think that God designed the universe and the position of the stars and planets in a certain way to affect life here on Earth. That's kind of how I perceive astrology. There's astrology is like astrological weather. It's the way the weather impacts us, the movement of the stars and planets, the effect it has on us here. I do believe that there is an effect that those specific things have on us. And I believe that that's designed in a certain way for a certain reason. Like the change of the seasons is tied to where the planets are. Sometimes this is just a part of their creation, the design of it. So that's why I think it works or predicts well. But again, I'm not saying people should get into this. I don't think they should. How is Taurus related to Venus? So each sign is related to a certain planet. Taurus is related to Venus, as is Libra, because Venus is most prominent in the sky at these times of year when Taurus and Libra are, the sun is in those positions. And also it has to do with the nature of the signs. So Taurus specifically has a lot to do with beauty, with fertility, with abundance, with richness, all things that Venus is, ruler of. Venus is a planet and a goddess of like attractiveness, of money, of fertility, of abundance, of beauty, of nature in a lot of ways, perfection. These kind of themes come through. So both of these are very impactful in Taurus as a sign, as well as Libra. And you see that these people, or these placements manifest in people, and they have certain qualities related to that. So they're Venusian by nature. They have these kind of qualities of attraction and harmony as well. I mean, Venus also represents harmony, which is something that Libra really represents. Libra is the harmonizer, the one that brings balance and justice and going off with that. But there's different signs, or each sign is governed by like a different planet. So another example, Mercury rules Gemini, and it also rules Virgo. And so both of these signs have mercurial qualities. You want to study, if you want to understand like the qualities of how the planets impact the signs, you really have to understand mythology and who the gods are in like Greek, Roman mythology. If you can understand that, you're going to have a pretty good understanding of the planetary alignments that correlate to these signs. So let's throw out another example. Let's see. Jupiter, the planet Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So, that sign will take on those qualities. It's just an influence. It's just a pattern. It's a correlation. Capricorns and Aquarians are ruled by Saturn. So they take on those qualities. And actually the time that those, signs, when the sun is in those signs, Saturn is most prominent in the sky. You see it more clearly. It's having a stronger impact on the planet itself. So, and so to the ancients who were staring up at the sky at night, they noticed these things, they kept track of the patterns, and they noticed the correlations. And over time, they set up these belief systems around them and these practices, and astrology is just one of those. And powerful people throughout history have employed astrologers. It's commonplace in every single kingdom that the court would employ astrologers, because it was important to keep note of these certain things. I think there's something to it. But again, I don't recommend you go out and get invested in it and, start paying for readings and start getting sucked into it. It's something that's interesting to study and note, but not put all of your faith in. Hey, Lord Bibby. I don't think all women are followers. And I agree, it's not weak to follow. Well, we've been going over that tonight. I don't think it's a good thing, and I had somebody write to me and ask me, how to stop watching it because they're addicted to them. I think they can be addictive and I think they're destructive a lot of the time. They're not good. They suck people in, they give them false hope, they get people stuck in patterns of reliving emotions and trauma, and they have you ruminating on things that you should get over. And they have you spying on people that you don't need to know about. What so and so thinks about you is none of your business. Not good. Jesse is Gemini. I know Jesse is Gemini, obviously. Come out of it fully, Terry. What do you mean, come out of it fully? I'm out of it fully. Through all of this and searching another tab, I found out I am a double Libra. So does that mean that your sun, or does that mean your rising or moon is in Libra as well? Man, having a moon in Libra would be so hard. Just a bit. I just was imagining that. Yeah. So far, the net thinks I care about fashion. Most Libras I've known, I wouldn't say care about fashion, but they do care about style. And especially like the cardinal signs, it's it can be less important, but cardinal signs usually take on positions of leadership. So how they dress kind of is important. Just passing through as a Taurus, and Tomas says, no, you are just passing through. I was told I was a Cancer, and after that, I don't know. It doesn't have to mean anything to you. If you're not interested in it, you don't have to be into it, Cancer is a great sign, I think. It's being a male Cancer is probably a bit more difficult. I would imagine. Okay, so just so you know, you said you don't even understand the sun sign. That's just the sign that the sun was in terms of that. So in astrology, there's 12 houses which represent the sky above us. Okay, so the sun is going to be wherever it is at the time of your birth in the house of Cancer. So that's the beginning. Cancer is the cardinal sign, so it brings in the new season. It starts at the start of the new season, which is summer. It opens up the summer. So yeah. Again, cardinal sign, so it's a leadership kind of sign. Individual, kind of. There's a touch of individualism in that, a touch of kind of independence that comes with being a cardinal sign. And then Cancer is cardinal water. So the water signs are, it's basically, the elements come into it as well with astrology. So the different astrological signs will have different elemental qualities. With Cancer, again, cardinal water. So you want to imagine these things as bodies of water, or like they act and kind of correlate to bodies of water in terms of the energy that person would bring. So This would be like a spring bursting forth or like a geyser to me or something like that, like something kind of powerful, water that like cuts through stone. Um, Bubbling spring, maybe water that kind of bubbles up, comes to the surface. Cancer, and then the little animal that represents Cancer is a crab, and it correlates to the there is a what is the word I'm thinking of? Constellation, the Cancer constellation. So you want to look up the Cancer crab constellation and see kind of like how that's in the sky related to where the sun is. This is interesting. I teach knowledge so much that I don't think I'm like an older kid to the Aries, but also Aries don't like me. Honey, Aries don't like anybody. Taurus are stubborn. Aries are stubborn as hell. They always want to get their own way. They're very willful, fiery, clap back. They're gonna get their own way. They're always right. They're hot headed. I don't know what to tell you. Like that is cardinal. Aries is cardinal fire. Okay, so it's like they go off. Matthew, why are you giving the witches watching this your details? You also have to give your year to get the right 209. Was that AM or PM? Matthew wants me to look at his sign. We'll pull it up. We'll dissect it. Actually, I have no energy for that. We're all plagued by destiny, honey. Whether we're aware of it or not. How terrible. What are you talking about? We are all plagued by destiny. Yeah, science sees water, air, fire, and earth to describe wet, cold, warm, and dry. Okay, yeah. I didn't know that. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of this is tied in with ancient science as well. So, if you want to, again, it's like, I think some knowledge of astrology is helpful just to like understand a lot of different things because it is so interwoven with like Western history. If you want to like get into it, there's a lot of knowledge to be gleaned about it, and the more I kind of studied it, the more I understood about different things. But whatever. What I find quite contradictory is that tarot and astrology are considered spiritual tools, yet many of its users use it to predict future events, which weakens your mind. This isn't spiritual. Yeah, a lot of people want to have answers that it's better for them not to have. And again, I do think it weakens people because like they're not being as active. It makes you more passive in your life because you're waiting on like confirmation to act, and really what we should be doing is stepping out in faith. We shouldn't be expecting to know the answer before we've even tried. And I think, yeah, it puts the cart before the horse. So I appreciate this comment. I think you're really right about that. There is no destiny. Come on, girl. What the hell do you mean? How do you mean there's no destiny? I don't concur. We don't agree. I think certain things are meant to happen. But I mean, what do you mean there's no like what do you think? How do you think it is then if there's no destiny? Oh, well, I'm glad that you caught this. Praise the Lord. Hallelujah. Another soul is saved. Stop watching that stuff. It's not good for you. Okay? It's going to really spiritually drain you over time, make you weaker. And think about what it's doing to you now. Just look at what it's doing to you now. Watch, if you do happen to click on another video, because again, I know they're addictive, like watch yourself while you're watching it. Like while you're listening to it, while you're watching it, watch yourself. What's going on with you? How is your body reacting? Are you emotional? Are you on a roller coaster? Like, are you addicted to that feeling? Because that might be it more than anything. You're addicted to the rush of emotion that it brings for you. Sometimes we get like for example, the love readings. Okay, let's talk about the love readings. It feels really nice to like someone, doesn't it? I mean, it feels really nice to like someone, to be attracted to someone, to be like to desire someone. And so let's say things aren't really working out with that person. You start watching these videos, right? And you keep hearing all these things you want to hear about how they're thinking of you, how they miss you, how they want to see you, blah, blah, blah. You are torturing yourself. You're keeping yourself trapped in hell so that you can relive those nice feelings. But then at the end of the video, you're back to the disappointing reality that, like, that fantasy in your head is not real. And then you get addicted to that video. It's like, come on, tell me what I want to hear again. It's no good. I think you are dead without spiritual light of God. That being said, I know that life is predestined rather than destined. Ask me how. I don't know what predestined is versus destined. Maybe I don't know what is meant by destiny here. I don't know. I think we're getting too deep with this conversation about destiny. That's probably the smartest thing that was said tonight. Amen. Right? Why do we do this to ourselves as human beings? Like, why do we invest so much like time and energy and feeling into people that aren't showing us they love us? Like, show me. Why are we put like why do we do that? Why is it so common that people just desire and ruminate and fawn and fixate over people that don't want them at all? I mean, I don't want to say they don't want them at all, but like clearly it's not working out. Clearly something isn't right. So why are we so invested in, the excitement and fantasy of it? It's no good for us. I know. And I love my little thrills too. I'm a thrill seeker as well. My little thrills of excitement I get doing things in my day to day. We're all guilty of it. So I'm not trying to judge here. I'm just trying to make people aware who might be struggling with this, watching these videos, invest in, like, God, if you're getting readings about someone, you're like paying to get readings about someone. Come on, why? Because I tell you, the number of people who know their spouse is cheating on them, who go to a reader, Like, that to me is like really ethically dangerous territory, and that's the thing about tarot readings as well. They can get really unethical really quickly because people really do ask a lot of readers that they probably shouldn't ask. And then this person is put in the position of giving advice that they probably really shouldn't be giving. And then, in terms of like a marriage, I want you to think about the responsibility of the reader and like choosing what to do is ethical in that moment when somebody asks you, like, is my spouse cheating on me? Like, okay, maybe they are. Should you be the one to tell them because they came to you? Like, there's all kinds of like ethically kind of, because to me it's like if you even have to ask where you need to get confirmation about something, why? Like, why are you needing a second opinion on something that you feel is wrong? If you feel something is wrong, why can't you just trust your intuition? You're putting all this emphasis, you're making somebody else responsible for your intuition. You wouldn't be asking if you didn't suspect something because something wasn't off. That, I feel like people know. I mean, they don't always know. Some people are like hit like blindsided, but most of the time, if you're having to ask, I mean, if you're already asking, Our ego tells us we deserve them. After you don't get them, you get humbled. If you do get them, you get a shot of ego. It's the fun. Yeah, that's so true. Oh, how wicked. I agree about that. I think that's a good philosophy. What's up, baby? You want this? You want some of this? Come here, baby. Come on. Yeah. Good boy. What a kitty. Oh, my perfect kitty. Oh, my perfect kitty. Oh, so perfect kitty. Oh, so perfect kitty. Oh, so perfect kitty. Oh, so perfect kitty. Did you miss me? Why you smell so good? Predestined to arrive to the chat yesterday. Amazing. Yep, that's true. We don't want to accept reality. Yeah, Freddie is wise. He's a pharaoh. I mean, come on. You don't get to be pharaoh without being very wise. You trying to get on cam. You trying to get a close up. You getting a close up. Look at that kitty. Hey, everybody, look at my kitty. Isn't he special? Isn't he special? You so special. Oh my goodness, you're so special. You getting the claws on the back. Oh, so nice. What a beautiful cat. Yeah. What a good boy. Yeah. You good kitty. You the best kitty. You the most wonderful kitty. Whoop, there he goes. Okay. That's amazing. It's amazing when that happens. Yeah, I mean, it sucks you in. You start to like when you start to have a spiritual awakening, there's so many things you can get sucked into, but like, is it living water? Is it going to feed your soul? Is it going to nourish you? Is it going to sustain you? What is it really doing to you inside? Is it just keeping you stuck in another cycle? I know we're a mess. Human beings are a mess. Like, who likes you even if you don't like them? Liking someone makes you look desperate to the one you like, and that makes you look unattractive to them. It's crazy. I mean, um, it's funny. Yeah, it is funny. And I think it's important to, like, sometimes, you don't want to be desperate. You don't want to come across desperate. You do want to play it cool. I think people like rush into things a lot of the time. They like someone, they know there's a mutual attraction, they want to rush it, and it's just like, why not let it happen naturally? If it's meant to happen, it will. You don't have to force it. I concur. The lucky gato. I am very lucky. I am a lucky woman. I have a very wonderful cat. I can pick my wife in under 90 days. Frederick, don't waste a woman's time. That's right, Frederick. After 90 days, he's like, I'm sorry. I've been seeing you. We're not compatible. It's not going to work. I wish you well. I think that's true. I think a man knows. I think a man does know pretty quickly. Like, maybe not, not immediately, but I think 3 months, if you've been regularly seeing a woman, you can kind of tell if you are going to be, she's going to be the kind of woman that you want. And I think women kind of delude themselves, and spend a lot of time with guys who are stringing them along, waiting around. And I don't think there's anything wrong with like a longer courtship either, but if at that point he isn't kind of wanting to take it to the next level, you want to be thinking about that. He ain't bad luck. No, he's not. And he ain't a bad luck either. He takes care of his fur very nicely. I should turn a video of my cat to Rockstar so he can dub. I don't know who Rockstar is. What would he dub on my kitty? Then they'd be like, you're trying to string me along, Fred. I don't know. I only read one book by Carl Jung, and I didn't really like it. You're not putting me in the friend zone. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. Good old Carl. I don't know what to really think of him very much. What was the book I read? It doesn't matter. I can't remember it right now. I just didn't like his style, and I'd read Civilization and Its Discontents by like Sigmund Freud right before I read this book. Oh, it was like the Examined Self or something like that, I think was the name of the book. But yeah, I was finding it didn't hit. It didn't have the same kind of hit. Because I am interested in like analysis. I do find it interesting. I don't think, we talk about therapy, we talk about counseling, that kind of thing, and like the waste of this, but I do think there is value to actual psychological analysis, which means like somebody actually listening and understanding, a person's psychology. I think with therapy, it's just another route, though, in our current era where people get put on different treatments instead of understanding the way they tick, you know, understanding the way they tick and why they tick the way they tick so that they can overcome. There's not much, I think analysis helps people overcome better, but it's rare to find like a really good analyst. So do you believe in twin flames and karmic soulmates and soulmates? No, not really. I mean, I wouldn't say like no completely. I think there's some validity to certain concepts within that, but I think it's very perverted in the way that it's talked about. It has nothing to do with like a very good understanding of these kind of connections. First off, most people are not going to experience that kind of twin thing, and it's not necessarily like they make it into a romantic thing and it isn't necessarily that. And again, like I don't even know much about that, so I can't even really touch into it. I've only read about it in certain esoteric works. I mean, Dion Fortune has a really good book if you want to understand these things better. I would say it's called I think it's called The Esoteric Meaning of Love and Marriage. And it deals with like different types of connections, sexual relationships, and the kind of spiritual impact of it. So, after reading that, like I was even more convicted that the Christian path and Christian life is best, and Christian chastity is a really good thing. I mean, I was already on that path, but it helped like refigure it for me because I was coming out of like an occultic mindset anyway, so just to have that double validation was helpful. Let's see, y'all going off. I feel like when I listen to Alan Watts, I just kind of space out. I don't know if I absorb anything. I kind of go into a when he's talking. Do I believe in reincarnation? I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't have an opinion. I mean, I don't know. I say I don't know what happens when we die exactly. I don't pretend to know. It's nice to think about heaven and like what that could be like, a perfect existence, forever living with God. But I don't know what God does with us exactly. There's certain theories and different theological debates about it. And I surrender, to God that, just whatever happens, happens. I try not to worry about it. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know what happens with our souls. I know that I, did past life. I did some like past life regression work myself when I was first getting into this kind of like new age stuff, and that was interesting. But again, it's another one of these traps. It's another one of these addictive things you get into, you get sucked into, you want to do more and more. You think they're spiritually teaching you because it's like this incredible experience where you're having this extraordinary supernatural experience, but it's a mirage, it's fake. How do I know what I imagined in these scenarios was my past life? I have no idea. I have no idea. And, hopefully what I just gleaned from them was something about myself. Are you talking about me? You said I reminded you of your sister before, so now I'm reminding you of someone else. Interesting. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're responding to either. You can't avoid problems by forgiveness, but it helps. True. Why do people choose not to forgive? It's amazing to me how people choose to stay in unforgiveness when it's such an incredible burden to carry. It is such an incredible burden to carry, this self-righteousness. It is so heavy. It is so destructive to us. Why do we hold on to it? It corrodes our very fabric of being. It keeps us angry. It keeps us repeating patterns. It's so destructive. It's so wicked. But people are like, what happened to me, I could never forgive. What makes you so special? What makes your pain so unique? I hope people are going to forgive me. I did something salacious on my Instagram. You know what happened today while I was working? I mean, I had a rough day at work as usual. It's just been tough for a while. I'm digging myself out, but it was a rough week, and it was Friday, trying to get everything caught up before I left for the day to the best of my ability. And yeah, mid afternoon, I hear all this raucous and chanting, and I'm like, oh no. And then I look out the window and I see somebody carrying a Palestinian flag, and I'm like, okay, they're protesting over here now. What are they doing over here? Why are they over here? What is over here that's offended them? That they just have to be over here exactly. What is it? Why are they coming through this area? It doesn't make any sense. But they're out and about everywhere. I'm tired of it. And maybe that sounds awful. I don't know. Every time I see them, I just feel more and more like I'm over this. I'm so over this Palestine mess. I really am. So yeah, I posted something salacious on my Instagram. I posted a frustrated selfie, and I think I said something like, why are the Palestinian, the Free Palestine cucks over here right now, or something like that. And somebody responded to it at wait, you're pro-Israel? And I'm like, did I say I was pro-Israel, or did I say, why are the Free Palestine cucks over here? I just want some peace. I want peace in the Middle East, and I want peace in my neighborhood. I want some peace and quiet while I'm having a stressful day. It's a stressful day. I'm a little bit tired of this. I just don't think it does anything. Okay. That's the other thing. It doesn't do anything for these people. Everyone is so concerned about these people in Palestine, but like, what good does that do? What good does setting yourself on fire do? Or like laying down, like, I just don't see, you're not stopping anything from happening. You're just making a ruckus. I don't know. It's exhausting. And they usually don't come over here at all. So it's just like, what are they doing over here? I have to say, this is some of the best boba I've had in a long time. It's like super like soft. Yeah, it's like cooked really well. Y'all responded to me. Hold on. Okay. So right here, whoever you think your twin flame is not your twin flame. And whether or not you had a past life with them does not excuse what you're going through with them now. Okay? Like, if they wanted you, you would know. Don't ruminate about this person anymore. Okay? This is the devil using your emotions to run you and destroy your life. Okay? This has nothing to do with destiny or you're finding your perfect twin flame person, or the most you can hope for out of this situation through alchemizing all of the emotional stuff you're going through with meeting this person and the quote unquote awakening you're experiencing. Okay. Like, the best thing you can do with that is just learn how to really be a loving person. Okay. So ask yourself, what is the most loving thing I can do in this situation with this person? And then move from there. Okay. Like, what is the most loving thing for you, for them? And what is the most loving thing generally? What is the best thing? What is the right thing? And is it to ruminate about them and to think that you have some, destiny with this person that for some reason just isn't happening? I don't remember what was I getting Fight Club about? It must be a nightmare. It's amazing here. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's green. I saw some beautiful flowers today. And I even like the fact that it's lively like that. I think it's great that we have such active civic participation, and the people here get rowdy about things. I think that's nice. I think it is nice. It's heartening. I remember like my mom calling me and like being just like, well, years prior with all of the ruckus and protests and drama that was happening here. My mom was like, well, at least you live somewhere where people care. And I was like, okay. But then I thought about it. I was like, yeah, they do care. They do care. They may be misguided, but they do care. They do care enough to show up and show out. Like even these Palestinian Free Palestine cucks that I said, that I was mad at, that I was frustrated with, like, you know, they're misguided and they're misusing their energy in a way that isn't helpful to anyone. But, the fact that they do care about something is commendable. That's about it, though. I mean, that's all I have to say about it. Like, I've heard that protesting is useless, but no one does that around here. I mean, it depends on the protest, how it's being done, what it's about. Different protests are function differently. I find this kind of protesting really meaningless. All it does is disturb the peace. It doesn't really change anything. But there are things people can do. But again, a lot of time people don't want to go that route. So, and I definitely don't, because I'm just trying to live a meek, humble life and not get invested in things I have no control over. What happens in Israel and Palestine is not something I have really any effect on. It doesn't do me any good to worry about it. I'm more worried about the humanity of the people, involved. And, in any war, there's horrible things that go on. There's a lot of people that die. I guess, it's been sad to me, but it's also been sad to me the number of people that seem to be just completely swept in by the rhetoric of, support Palestine regardless of the context. And, this is the traditional leftist opinion. So this is just what we're going to keep doing. And, let's dehumanize the people living in Israel and the people who are victims. And let's, accuse Israelis of things that you can also accuse Americans of, as if, and they had any choice about where they were born. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like people just don't get it with Israel, and they seem to think that they don't understand what Israel's really about, in terms of like a nation itself, in terms of what it means geopolitically. Anyway, it kind of ruins the magic. I don't think it's a daily thing. I mean, sometimes it depends on what's going on. It can be a daily thing, but not always. But they do, these people are out quite a bit, and they are just, to me, I guess I'm exhausted with this particular conflict. I'm just exhausted with it. It's been emotionally distressing to navigate how people are reacting to it, how people are talking about it, and just the level of unawareness people have and how they talk about it with no regard to any of the things I've brought up. Like, there's just a lot of unexamined, like, this is the correct position because these people are the biggest victims, and no contact, like humanity context, or, understanding that they're not any different than these people. Anyway. Okay, give me a moment, y'all. Okay. Had to get my water bottle. It's big. Okay. So let's get back to the chat here. Catching up with y'all. Yeah, I think so too. It's kind of becomes addictive and then it grows and spirals out of hand. Maybe I should ask them next time. I'm not. I understand their side. I understand it, but I'm not. The government is running drills. This is interesting. I don't disagree with that. A lot of it just seems very staged. Okay. Yeah. I find it strange that you're helping folks stop tarot, because if you're invested in the signs of it and you feel it to be truthful, why shouldn't someone be into tarot for the sake of conversation? I don't know. Maybe I wasn't clear. I'm hearing a lot of like raucous noise going on outside. I think people are still protesting. I swear to God, why are they over here? Like, what's over here? Like, that's just what it sounds like. I hear like the weird drums. Oh, Lord. Not tonight. I mean, because it's nighttime, and anytime the protesting happens at night, it's usually a mess. Okay, so first thing to understand is where I'm coming from with it. I think there was something that my time that I spent in the occult learning this stuff is all stuff that I think can be used to serve the kingdom of God. And I don't mean that practicing divination does, but understanding the mechanisms, understanding what people are addicted to, what they're dealing with, the kind of psychological impact of these things, what happens during a reading. Like, all of this awareness I've gleaned from my own experiences. Like, I understand what people are doing. And so because of that, I think I'm in a better position to advise them about why it isn't, good for them overall. What about it is lacking and why they need to give it up. The other thing is too, we're just commanded not to practice divination, and we're also commanded not to lean on our own understanding. If I were to go off of my own understanding, in terms of like tarot reading, my own understanding would be, this is a great thing. It earns me money. It helps other people. I help other people by doing it. That would be my understanding. Okay. But my understanding is flawed. And what I've come to see through being convicted by just, I became convicted of this in several ways, through visions I had, through dreams I had, and just through reading the Word of God and kind of pondering it for myself. Why does God say that, people who practice these things, why does He say they're not going to inherit the kingdom of God? Why does God say, do not suffer a witch to live among you? Why is it said that we're not to do these things? It's because these things are wicked in His eyes. And I hope that by talking about it today, I've given some examples of why these things are wicked. We're not meant to peer down certain doors. It's dangerous for us to do so. And then we have to understand that when we do that, we're inviting evil spirits into our lives. And this very well may be where the information is coming from. I always tried to stay level-headed with a tarot reading and tried to be practical about what was on there. But let me tell you, I saw a lot of things, and I knew a lot of things that weren't in the cards when I would do a tarot reading. Like, things would just come to me. Visions, just knowing things. Where was that stuff coming from? And if God says no, where am I getting this information from? And for what purpose? It's leading me astray as the one who's reading, and it's leading whoever I'm reading for astray. Even if the reading itself is done with the most integrity, and even if it does, quote unquote, help the person. Wouldn't they have been better helped by reading their own Bible and praying and trusting in God and looking for the eternal? It'll pass. I mean, it'll pass. Okay. Hopefully what I've said today, is a wake up call to you. Okay. You're under spiritual warfare right now. Okay. You are going through an awakening. Just see it as this. Okay. You're going through an awakening right now, and you're being given certain information. I think you're being woken up to spiritual warfare and the way the devil uses the desires of our flesh against us to trap us. Okay. And he doesn't need to trap us even next to a person. He can just do it in our mind, because the traps of the devil, they exist in our mind more than anything else. If he can control you there, he has you. He has no need to make your life completely tied down in misery. If you're tied down in your mind and you're not actualizing yourself and you're not growing and you're not developing into the person God created you to be, then he's winning. So see it as a blessing that this has happened. You're being made aware of the spiritual warfare you are under. The new Israel is the people. Yeah, Israel is the people. There's a nation called Israel, but ultimately Israel is the people, God's chosen people. That's a good proverb. Yeah. It's very hydrating. What is it? Essentia water, the electrolyte water. I got a thing of it this week because I was like, it's going to be getting warmer. I want to make sure that I'm drinking a little bit more fluid. I think they can do both. I mean, you might get a reading about somebody who's an enemy and it may be accurate. So, yeah. Again, though, why are you even in that situation? If you were following God, would you be in that situation in the first place? Leftover pizza is better than fresh pizza. I think it depends on the pizza. Not all leftover pizza is better than fresh pizza, but some leftover pizza definitely is. We're still live. That's true too. That is true too. I'd be careful about my dreams, but I think too, some dreams are just more powerful than others. I had this like very intense, very powerful dream, and there were like, when I woke up and like interpreted it, it just stuck with me so long. This is when I actually went to get pastoral counsel after this dream. I mean, it was a few weeks or maybe even a month or so after the dream happened that I actually sat down with and spoke to a pastor about it. And I didn't really talk to him about the dream so much, but that's when I was talking with him about getting rid of like my tarot cards and like, paraphernalia. And he kind of talked to me. We had an in-depth discussion about these things, and he kind of helped me put it in a good light to feel, secure about my salvation and also like the right way to move forward. But it convicted me, it helped to convict me that these things were wrong. I realized I couldn't keep serving two masters. God does not want me doing these things. And I recognized that that was the case. And it wasn't from like a space of condemning me, but it was just making me see the truth. What is the fruit? Test the spirits, You make a deal with a fish. Interesting. I did one tarot reading. Lel. Lel. Haven't seen that typed out in a while. I don't hear the raucous noise anymore, so maybe they were marching and came near here or something. The Pisces fish. I was thinking, oh, he's a Cancer water sign. Well, I would say stop thinking about it too. Like every time, during the day, start to notice your thoughts. Like you said you had meditated. Like you need to learn how to observe your thoughts when they happen. So like when your mind starts, going into that fantasy place, recognize it. You may fall and stumble and get sucked into the fantasies again, but like snap out of it, and learn to say, to put that behind you. When it comes up, that's the devil coming for you. He's tempting you. He wants to take you out of the present moment and put you into some fantasy world. Like, become aware, you're going to strengthen yourself. But don't be lost in your thoughts. You don't need to think about it. You just need to notice it and then come back to the present moment. Like, notice it when it's happening. Don't get sucked in. If you do get sucked in, like, start to, combat it, come back to, reality, come back to the present moment. Interesting. Wow. Thank you for sharing your dream. Oh my goodness. You don't have a daughter. Do you wish for one? Yeah, I understand, yeah, especially with a repeating dream like that, especially like a nightmare dream. Wicked spirit, yeah. Well, I'm sorry you had that come upon you. I mean, that's a very frightening thing to experience as a child, especially those kind of intense dreams. Some dreams are just like so real. They're like they seem more real than reality. And then to wake up from it, it's like such a uncomfortable process. Okay, so I've got some paint on my nails. Oops. Touch this one up again. I keep scuffing this poor nail. Okay, let's see. You have dreams about the future? Oh dear. You're like Joseph in the Bible. And what was revealed to you in your dream? Okay. A little bit more. I think that's a good kind of amount. How do you live without purpose? What do you mean by that? How does one live without purpose? Do you feel you have nothing that you're doing that's contributing? Lottery was 1.67 billion. I don't know. I never played the lotto. It's too bad. Maybe I should. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. It's not really for me. I just feel so sleazy going to the convenience store and asking for a lotto ticket. Doesn't sound like something a lady would do. Oh man, come on. Mm. Oh, come on. I want to get one of you. Come on. Just a couple more. Couple more. I've had like hot drinks from them before. I've gotten like their hot coffee. But this was good. Their boba is good. The only thing about the shop I don't like is it's a little inaccessible. I mean, I can get in and out okay. Getting out is a little bit complicated actually. Like the angle I have to like maneuver my device is a bit irritating. Like I went in today after work. I worked a little bit late, not too late, and then I went in and got the boba and I got like dinner. I had a very light meal, I think, kind of like breakfast, lunch, rolled into one earlier. I mean, it wasn't too light. I had like an English muffin with some salmon and cream cheese on it. So I went for like a bigger like meal here. Tried their fish sandwich. It was good, and their fries. So I had an unhealthy like meal, but it was good. It was so good. And then the boba tea, I'm like, dang, I'm set for a while. It was hearty and like really well made, like very impressive. So I'm quite happy that there is this place in my neighborhood, that there's like a new place that has actually interesting things. So it's always nice. I mean, I'm pretty blessed where I live that there's a number of places to go, like with decent food. It had like lettuce, fresh lettuce, and it had tomato and pickles. It was good. It was so good. And the bun it came on, like they definitely baked it there. Like it was such a soft bun, and then the fish was prepared very well. Like everything was good. The only thing about the fries I would say is they were too salty, like they were way too seasoned. Oh, but I don't really. I mean, I like a bit of seasoning, but it was a bit too much. It was not something I would get again, unless maybe. I mean, I got a small order of them, so uh, it was good. But yeah, I don't think I would get their fries again. But the fish sandwich, I would definitely get again. Let's see, pho po boys, pho po boys. I've never had a pho po boy. I have had pho. I love pho. I was actually thinking today when I went out, like after work, I was like, maybe I should go over to like the Pearl District and get some pho from that lake. But I kind of felt like I didn't want to be out too long because it was a bit later. It was like after 6 o'clock when I finally got out. So I knew it wasn't going to be light and warm forever. And I went out in this, like I'm wearing a skirt, you can't see it, and um, this sweater over this shirt. So it's not like I was wearing a lot. I just went out like this, and it was comfortable, so I didn't want to be out too long, not having a jacket, because I knew once it got dark, the temperature would drop pretty rapidly. So I didn't want to go off too far. Um, so it was good. Definitely am full, very full, blessed. um, you restauranting must be neat. I do enjoy. I enjoy it. I think it's neat. I enjoy different restaurants, things. It's something I enjoy. Especially like, little local places, or like, this particular place is like a Filipino American restaurant, so there's interesting stuff. I tried living with roommates, failed at that. Tried living on my own, failed. So, where are you living now, Bosco? I did not enjoy living with roommates. I mean, there were certain people I lived with that were better than others. I lived with one of my friends, and we did all right together. Like, not completely. There were some things that we kind of annoyed each other about, but like, you know, it is what it is. We're still okay, as friends, despite that. But I don't know. I definitely don't want to ever do that again, living with roommates. Unless it was a situation of somebody like that I knew well. But even then, like, I'm just so used to my own space. I'm so used to like my privacy and having my own space. It's like, I don't know. Like, it's awkward trying to imagine like having to share a kitchen with other people again, or share a bathroom. Like, I don't want to say I don't want to do that. Like, I would do it in the context of like I would share a kitchen. I don't ever want to share a bathroom with anyone again. Like, I even feel weird when like I have friends over and they use the bathroom. I'm like, they're in my bathroom. you know, it's just, yeah, it's a lot. I do like cilantro. Mm, that's frightening. Yeah, exactly. It just, and it's like not a big deal if I leave something out, because it's just more my process to like leave certain things out. I just don't, it's nice to just, it's me, it's mine, it's like set up for me. There's something about it that's quite satisfying, and just, it makes you feel some kind of way. It's definitely a whole different feeling, and once you have it, it's like, it's nice. I had a group of friends in my room and we kept to ourselves. I had friends over. That way the roommate kicked in your door. Yeah, it's stuff like that with roommates. It's so complicated. Like, and then even getting a roommate. What do you, what's a gift from God? Having a roommate? I suppose it can't be. I don't mind cleaning up after myself besides my kids. I don't need another child to clean up after. Yeah, see, and that's the thing. And I don't need somebody, breathing down my back to clean up after myself. You left your art supplies out, you left this out, it's like, it's my place. I can keep it however I want. It's for my use. I don't have to worry about like making it comfortable for other people. There's something about that that's just, it's set up for me and I'm the main consideration. It's nice to have that. It's nice to have that. Not having to worry about not offending other people or stepping on anybody's toes or bothering others or people getting in your business or because I had roommates that stole from me and just or were nasty to me or hostile in some way. I definitely experienced that. So it's just not. Wow, that's crazy. Dang, that's crazy. Kicked in the front door of the house. And yeah, sometimes you find that people are just crazy. I've also had just like crazy roommates that were like out unhinged, and you're like, should have seen this coming. Then I've had situations with people that were better, but even in those situations, there's a level of just like discomfort that I think comes with the territory of having roommates. You're never fully comfortable. You're always kind of on edge. Okay, Vasco, this is crazy. Crazy. My God. That person, I mean, I understand like being angry if somebody like damages your stuff, but like to kick in the door and just to be like so violent and to just assume like why did he assume it was you? I know that too. Like who does that? Yeah, that too. Like just the unnecessary drama. Like some people are just so like they just can't be chill. Some people really they have to have drama all the time, and like living with those kind of people it just is so exhausting to be around that like person that's just constantly needing that stimulation all the time. It's really draining and crazy making, and it's like you're at home, you've been working, you want to rest, you want like peace, you don't want somebody bringing unnecessary trauma and hardship and difficulty into your life. I'm thinking of other roommate situations. I'd have them been like, okay. Usually, when the roommate situations were okay, there were people I already knew prior to like moving in together. So there was like a level of respect and consideration for the people. I have never had a situation, well, I don't want to say never had a situation because I did have one roommate for a while who like answered an ad that I placed, and he was actually pretty chill. He was like one of my better roommates that I had, but we didn't live together for too long. I mean, he lived with me a few months before he like moved on, and then I had another friend like move into my place after that, so it was okay. It's kind of weird, like at the time, because it was like I was like, should I get a male roommate? But like it was actually like really chill, like really chill. One of the more chill roommates I had. He was just like a normal person. He was a little bit like, I don't know, of like a hippie bro kind of guy. Like not somebody like we just weren't like ever gonna be compatible. So I think it worked out for that reason. But we also like had a decent enough like respect for each other. It was interesting. Mm, dang. I concur. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I was like 20, I think, at the time, or was I 20? So, like, I was pretty silly, I guess, thinking about it now. His name was Phil. He was from like Chicago, and he'd like just moved here and was looking for a place. And he actually, like, I don't know, it's just, I had a good feeling about him when I met him. Actually, I just had this good feeling like he would be okay. And I trust the feelings that I get about people, like the impressions I get. So, but then he moved in with like the neighbor. He befriended my next door neighbor, and they started jamming together, like playing music together, and decided to like move in together. But this neighbor was a nefarious guy, and apparently he owed some bad people some money. And they came knocking one day and like shot at the door. And then, like, my former roommate who moved in next door with the pothead neighbor ended up leaving that situation very quickly. So I didn't see him again. You know, Phil. You know Phil. Okay, you know Phil. All right. Yeah, he's all right. I haven't seen him in years, but he's a decent guy. He's a decent guy. He was an okay roommate. Like, no problems with him, no drama, no weirdness either, which was surprising. That was surprising, like, actually, when I think about it now, because I was a young woman, like, but I think he had good boundaries. I don't know. I mean, we could be like honest with each other, I guess, like living together, like it wasn't, there was none of that weird stuff came up. He was not as good as at reading people, but he smoked pot, so he was gay, pretty sure. He wasn't gay. He actually like hooked up with a chick when we were living together, and I went to work really early in that time, so like I think he like went out that night and was out late and brought her back like after I left the house, because I think at that time I was leaving the house at like 4 or something. So he didn't even like, he was out like partying or whatever, picked up this girl, brought her back, did the deed. And then in that morning, he was like, when I got home probably around like 2 or 3. And he was telling me, he was like, yeah, so he's like, he was like, I had this scare this morning. Like, I didn't know if you were here or not. And I was like in the kitchen cooking naked because I brought this girl home. And then I was like, oh no, what if Terry's here? And I was like, oh my, I don't know. I mean, maybe he was gay. Maybe he was being gay with the neighbor next door. Now, the neighbor next door, the guy who he moved in with, had a thing for me. So I don't know. But he was not going to, be the one. I have an issue with neighbors actually now that I think about it. Like, I've had a lot of guys living next door that are like I don't know, peeping, trying to see about me. Now that I think about it, it's been an ongoing thing through the years. Oh dear. It's always awkward when you like they're right next door. I've had some rotten ones over the years. Like not all, but some. But some. Right, I think I brought up the like next door neighbor that was like trying to get in my pants when I lived in my last place, who was like a 65-year-old criminal black man. Oh Lord. And he thought that he was like I don't know what he thought. He wasn't thinking. Oh, well, thanks for checking in, Seth. Thank you. Have fun with your friend. Yeah. Females living in proximity, for sure. I mean, when they're in proximity, it just makes it so much easier. It's like, wow, there's a woman near me. What if I could get her to pay attention to me? What if she might talk to me? What if I get to sleep with her? The mind starts going off in all these crazy directions. The devil starts whispering to you. uh, I mean, it's what happens. It's what happens. Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I now that I'm thinking about it, I have had an issue. And then I had the like crazy guy in the last building that was like coming for me. And when I first moved into this building, I had next door neighbors who were an unmarried straight couple, and they had the most awful arguments. Like, it was awful. They were so loud. They would fight incessantly. And the woman was a shrew. Like, she just was like really vile and mean. And he was just so pathetic. And like, there were multiple times I heard him crying, like not her, him. And it was very scary to me, like when I first moved in here, because I didn't notice anything like that when I was first moving in. I didn't hear, when I came to visit the place, I didn't hear that the people next door were like loud and fighting all the time. But because they didn't just fight loudly, they did everything loudly. So I did eventually hear them planning their like move out of the building. But yeah, they were not nice. They were not nice to live next to. My new next door neighbor is much more pleasant. He's more quiet. I hear him sometimes, but just like normally, not making a lot of ruckus, not carrying on or yelling, no fighting, no demeaning language, no male crying. I got scared. Like when I hear a man crying, I'm scared. I'm like, oh no, is somebody going to get killed? Like, mm-mm. Is that what Jesse told you to do? Did you call him and ask? Why did you stop? I would think you would make more money working as like a garbage man than working at Dairy Queen. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, it's not normal for men to be emotional like that. And like when men who are emotional like that are dangerous. Like, I I get scared. I mean, I'm not like, it's really dangerous. It's really dangerous when you hear men like getting that emotional, getting like, I mean, he also like, there was another time when I I had come back home. Like I was coming back home. I think it was one of those times I was working in the office. I was doing a hybrid kind of schedule. So it was one of the days I'd went to the office and I'd come home, and one of my neighbors from the second floor, she had come up to this floor. Like she took the elevator with me, and she got off, and like that neighbor, the one that was like the crying man, he was a huge guy too. Like he was massive. So it's like even more weird to imagine like this. Imagine this like really tall, really kind of thick built man. He did have long hair, but it was kind of like metal, style. I don't know how to describe it. Like he looked like a kind of a tough dude. But he was in the hall and he was freaking out and like yelling and slamming his fists into against like the wall in the hallway. And it was down the end of the corridor because there's like some in my building, there's different storage units. So on top of your actual apartment, there's like these little spaces you can rent to put stuff. So people like, rent them on top of their units for like to keep your bicycles or, whatever extra stuff you don't want in your space. So yeah, somebody broke into his space. Like his space got broken into, and he was being like really emotional about it. And this lady, she's like probably in her late 50s, and she's someone I know from the building. Like I met her early on moving in here. But yeah, she went up to him and she's like, "Hey, I heard about the break-in. I'm so sorry." Like, just kind of checking in with him. And I was just like, I'm avoiding this. Like, it just confirmed for me, like, kind of that he was, I know that was it. That was it to me too, because she would just like, I could just imagine it in my head, like this woman, like just over him, just like putting him down and like deriding him and degrading him. Like, I'm like, and I don't like, don't get me wrong, from what I understand from their relationship, she was like the breadwinner. Just what I observed. It looked like she went to work. I didn't notice him going off to work. I don't know for sure. Maybe he worked from home, but it seemed like, she was kind of the dominant partner as well. So she was no doubt like worn out and tired and nasty, you know? It's just, but to me, it was like, I just don't understand. Like, I don't understand it. Like, I just don't understand, like, keeping somebody around you don't respect, that you're going to, like, be emotionally brutal to, but, like, maybe she needs him financially or she thinks she does. I think a lot of people just are in relationships to have a roommate a lot of the time. They need a roommate and somebody to, like, do things with because they can't do things on their own. They aren't really, like, in it for the right reasons, obviously. Good. You should see men being aggressive just to be reminding what the difference is, right? Huh? If he's that emotional, he's definitely dangerous. I mean, yeah, I mean, like, it made me, it made me scared. Like, it's just inherently, like, men who don't have their emotions in control, they frighten me. It's like men are strong in ways that they often don't even recognize, and women are kind of frail. And I just get nervous, you know. And for me as a woman, like, I'm very careful, you know, about being emotionally strong and just not letting things get to me. So when I like hear and see a man being so emotional, like so like crying and screaming and carrying on and like just he wailed. He literally would wail. I'm like, it's frightening to me. Like, men need to be, when you are that physically strong, you need to be even stronger mentally. Otherwise, like, you're dangerous. You're a danger to yourself and others. You're just like a wild animal. I mean, you know, I'm not saying this to be like man hating. I'm just saying it's like, you know, that power that men have is like really dangerous if they're not mentally safe, if they don't have like their selves together. And of course, like, she was just vile, like vile. Like, I don't, you know, I don't understand how women let themselves become like that either. Like, they were both, it was a perfect example of a woman being in the masculine energy and a man being in the feminine energy, and what it's really like. You know, it's unnatural to both of them, and they both become these like very terrifying monsters because of it. You know, when women are too far into their masculine energy and men are too far into their feminine energy, like, it's really bad. It's really bad for both of them. So to me, yeah, it was just a perfect example of that, and like why, you know, being feminine as a woman is, you know, you have to be the feminine one. You can't be the one in the masculine energy. It's gonna wear you out, wear you down, and make you, you know, a monster. And I think a lot of women end up that way. You know, they become these like shrews, you know, just constantly nagging, constantly biting, constantly putting down, constantly unhappy, miserable, tearing the man apart. And it's like, well, you know, why are you even with this person? He wasn't, you know, it's like you wanted a companion more than you cared about who the companion was. I'm not gonna highlight that, Matthew. Oh my goodness. Damn, Matthew. I don't know if I should share that either, but dang. Uh, dang. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, I don't think it's good to test men's anger. You know what I mean? Like, some men, you know, can be too aggressive, too controlling, but it's like, you know, I think a lot of women don't think that men have feelings. You know, I've talked about this before in like videos, but a lot of women forget that men have feelings, you know, and It's just pretty amazing what they do. You know, it's pretty amazing what they do because of it. Oh, I'm sorry about your father, hon. That's hard. So you're living with your stepmom. How interesting. You're not compatible. Yeah, I mean, you're not meant to be compatible, you know? That was your daddy's woman. Now daddy's gone. It's kind of weird for y'all to be together. My stepmom is a girl boss. She divorced my dad like over a decade ago. So why are you living together? What? That's crazy. Funny looking at it now that I don't feel bad. Well, I hope your hand is much better. And you chose the right thing. Like, you know, get that anger out. Like, better to like punch something inanimate than another person. And also the right thing to like, I think, get out of that situation. I think that's the thing, like, too. I mean, you do have to forgive, but like, I think it's so hard for men to like really, you're never going to get over that with a woman and you're never going to trust her again, you know, in that circumstance. It's just like, uh, I wanted to have my dad rub off on me while he was going through cancer because I had recently forgiven. No, no, you shouldn't stay with that. I mean, you shouldn't, you know, it's a violation of your covenant and it shows a completely just like disregard for you. I just don't, you know, it's interesting. She wasn't the one, right? Clearly. I think, you know, it's interesting when people do forgive that, you know. I understand the reasons why they do as well, but like, how could it ever be the same? I just don't think it could. Like, I know for me, it wouldn't be. I'd be like completely just, it would just be business, I think, after that, you know. And that's not really a way to live either. It's not noble. I mean, it can be in certain circumstances, you know, but you know, it creates. I talked about this before in another video. Like, it's the kind of thing that corrodes a relationship. So I don't know why people like, you know, talk about it like it isn't completely destructive. And they talk about why you should tolerate it or something, or like, no. I don't think men are encouraged to do it the way that women are as much, but like, even so, like, why you shouldn't tolerate that. It's destructive, you know, and it's not only destructive, you know, corrosive to that relationship, it's corrosive to you as a person to be disrespected like that. So, you know, the quality and integrity of the person that you're with also says a lot about you. You know, and at the end of the day, we want somebody to that we can be proud of. I think, um, you know, if we're to like be married or you know we're to have somebody by our side, we want to be proud of that person. You know, we want to look at that person and think, you know, I'm proud, this person represents me well. This person I'm, not only lucky to have and to cherish, but like this person is a person of integrity. But then again, it's interesting because I was thinking about the show Upstairs Downstairs, which is like one of my favorites. I've, watch it periodically. Watch it probably every year, to be honest. Like, just rewatch the series. There's 6 seasons or series of it. And the men in the Bellamy family are interesting because the father, the kind of father in the show, the man of the house, lord of the house, he his wife has an affair, and they'd had marital problems leading up to it, where she was feeling neglected, and he kind of let her down a few times, and then this man kind of comes in, and she has an affair, and her husband, like, the man of the house, he knows about it, and he kind of just, he waits for, he notices it happen. He sees that his wife gets caught up in the thing, but like she chooses to end it pretty quickly. They get caught up for a few weeks, and then she decides to put an end to the affair, stop seeing him completely. And, her husband kind of picks it up, but he doesn't say anything to her, but he knows. And then the guy goes back to India. He was like an officer in India, and he left pretty abruptly after she broke it off with him to return. And she was upset, and her husband knew she was upset, and he kind of just he gently kind of guided her back. He made an effort with her to like pay attention to her after she broke it off with him, and then after he left, and he knew about it, and he saw her upsetness, he like sent her away to stay with her family for a little while so that she could kind of like grieve. It's just interesting because this was like set in like the early 1900s that this affair would have taken place, and they're like an upper class family, so it's interesting to see the way the father reacted. And then years later in the series, after the son of the house, James, gets married during World War I, he's, stationed in Europe. And his wife ends up having an affair with a pilot. And it's interesting because she keeps it under wraps. Like some of the servants kind of pick up that something's going on and that kind of thing. And he ends up getting killed. The pilot that she has an affair with ends up getting killed. And she's very distraught about it. And then her husband comes back and like discovers her letters to this guy. And it's so interesting because he was a terrible husband to her. Like he neglected her all the time and put her through James was a very troubled soul, to say that. And I don't mean gay. I just mean like he had a devil in him that drove him a lot of the time. So it was just interesting, the way that both of these men kind of reacted to their wives' infidelity. It's like they both took the blame for it in some way, or they like understood it. It was just so interesting to me. watching that and like kind of thinking that both men from the same family, like the father experienced his wife having an affair, and then years later the son experienced the same thing, and they both like kind of had this response of like feeling responsible and then like doing what they could to pay more attention to their wives. I just, because I was thinking like they both married these very like interesting women. So like the lady of the house, you know, in the first kind of iteration of this, she was of nobility. She was the daughter of an earl, and he was the son of like a pastor of some kind, or I don't know the exact term in the Church of England, but you know, his father was in the church, and he had political ambitions, and he married into this family, and you know, his wife came from more money and privilege than him, and you know, she, in some ways, I don't know, she was just very kind of independent and headstrong in her own ways, although she was a very classic and dutiful good wife at the time. But she, you know, she was spirited and kind of high strung, and, you know, needed a lot of attention and care, as it were. So it was interesting that like he married that kind of woman. And then the second story, that situation, like James himself was from, you know, nobility, you know, his mother being, his grandfather being an earl, you know, his mother being the daughter of an earl, and then his father being, you know, married into that family. But he kind of had a thing for like common girls, and he ends up like marrying this middle class typist. She's ended up working as a secretary for his father, and he like falls in love with her, and they get married. But she's also very interesting, kind of strong-willed, independent woman, and I don't know, it's just interesting to me, like they both just had that attitude of taking the blame for their wife's infidelity. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing this. You're welcome. I don't know. Are you talking about upstairs, downstairs? A woman named that show. Yeah, a woman did name the show. Yeah, too. I mean, it's interesting, yeah, especially at the time. So yeah, he married this woman. She was from a, you know, middle class background. She didn't really fit in with his world. She had a hard time fitting in. She did her best to be like a good wife, but she, you know, and she did. She was a very good wife to him. And it was just interesting, their relationship, the way it kind of went. I don't know. I think it was just an incredible like story of the arc of their marriage and how it went, and how, because he was a devil to her as well. Like he made her very miserable quite a few times, and he was inattentive to her and selfish. So, but she was also like this very kind of daring woman. I mean, just to like, she had been married previously. I was thinking about that too in the series, like how incredible their like whole story was, because you know, he met her when she was working for his father. He became kind of infatuated with her because she's a very good looking woman. It's played by Meg Gwynn Owen, and she was just stunning, you know, in the 70s. So very beautiful woman, kind of similar features to his mother, you know, the red hair, kind of like light features, some people in the hallway. But yeah, the family goes through like an upset, an upheaval. She kind of ends up taking on more responsibility. He ends up kind of like becoming emotionally reliant on her and falling in love with her. Asks her to marry him, and then she turns him down. She like gives him, she says she's going to think about it, and then turns him down. And then her, he's confused because he's in love with her. Like, he's offered her marriage and he doesn't understand why she's refusing him. She won't say. And then she's upset by it because she's in love with him too. But she, her mother's advised her basically not to marry him because of her past. So it's so interesting. Yeah. Her mother is just like, it's not fair, but life isn't fair. You have to do, you can't marry him because all of this is going to come out. There's going to be a scandal. His grandmother is not going to be okay with you marrying into their family, all of that mess. So her father, deals with like a week of this, her crying at night, coming home a mess, being, distraught. So he decides to come visit the young Captain James Bellamy and basically tells him the story of how his daughter was married previously to a guy who seemed normal at first, but ended up developing a drinking habit and, beating her. And so she eventually came back home to live with her parents and divorced him because he was so violent. So yeah, at the time, divorce was less common. The upper classes, it was becoming more acceptable. But for the middle classes, when she divorced and went back to her parents' home, it was such a scandal in their community that they had to move to another town where nobody knew them. So they did. They all moved to another town, and she ended up getting, work as a typist to support herself. And, it's just an interesting story, but I just love the story of their relationship because he was such a fallen person himself. And he relied on her for emotional strength for a while, for this hard time in his life. He falls in love with her. But he doesn't really know anything about her, her past or anything. And it's just interesting. Once it's revealed to him, he becomes determined, that he went to their house and basically told her he knew everything, and I still want to marry you. So if they get married, it's this beautiful, I don't know, it's just a beautiful little story. But yeah, their marriage was a mess. It was all over the place. And there were times where it was really good and there were times where it was really bad, But I kind of appreciated that too, because with the two of them, just with both of their pasts and the different temperaments that they had, it was just, I thought it was more realistic. But the fans of the show hate him. The fans of the show hate that character so much. They badmouth. I know for me, I love the character of James, but in the fan groups and stuff, man, they go hard on him. And it's, It's like, to me, it's just like, it's how do you not love somebody who's like so, I don't know. It just, his character to me was very, very lovable. And I didn't understand how like people couldn't like see these like things about him. Like he had a dark side, of course, but like everybody does. So he also had this like light side, you know, and I don't know. I don't know going on about upstairs, downstairs. I love that show. It's so good. I get all in my feelings watching it. I'm like, James and Hazel. What a love story. Just so perfect. So perfect for one another, yet so like also easy to make one another miserable as well. Fans are weird. Am I missing something? Hold up, let me scroll back. Maybe their souls were oppressed by devils. I think they were led by their conscience. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. Lady in Red music. What a mess. Whole lot of mess going on. Why do you keep saying this? Intimacy is everything. I don't. What are you getting at? I disagree. There is such a thing as too much intimacy. You know, you want to have a bit of mystery. What? Resources? If I ask and she doesn't say yes, ain't no confusion. Yeah, okay. Maybe I understand what you mean, but I'd rather say it was passion. Very passionate relationships are volatile as well. I agree. I agree. I know, but I mean, I don't think one should have no passion. I don't think you want to have a completely passionless. There should be some sort of like fire. It doesn't have to be volatile. It could be just a warm, burning fire. What's this? No, I didn't. I never stole anything from you. That's a damn lie. You take that back. I talked about this yesterday or whatever you brought it up before. I said I think that mystery is important. I don't think that, intimacy is everything. What do you mean? What do you mean by intimacy? Intimacy is gross. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, intimacy is not. Intimacy can be very. There's such a thing as too much of it. Like, you want to have a nice intimacy determines the economy. What are you on about? What are you saying? What do you mean? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I'm really think search yourself strongly and think about, do you want somebody around you of the opposite sex that you have no sort of passion for? It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be that kind of like intense, dramatic passion. It could just be, a nice burning fire, a nice steady flame. But, you want that flame. You want that warmth, I guess, is maybe what I'm thinking of when I think of, maybe that's not the right term for passion, but it's not something that you feel with everyone. You don't want to have a completely emotionless state dealing with someone either. You want somebody that you do feel some kind of way about. You don't want to just feel normal about them. You want it to be a little bit more than that, I would think. You don't want to be like an emotional roller coaster, but you want to feel warmly. You want to feel good. And not in like, not in a self-serving way, but in a way that's about them. That's how I think. Like, when I think about it, how do I want to feel? I want to feel warmly. I want to feel honored to be of service to be connected to be of service to be aligned with. Like, I want to have that warm kind of feeling of like, you know, positivity about someone, like of willing their good, and like, I guess that's what I'm talking about. No, honey, I never saw that. I never would see that. Avengers Age of Ultron. That's not my kind of thing. I didn't think you were talking about being physically intimate. I know you don't mean that. I'm not talking about that either. Obviously, because I said there's such a thing as too much intimacy. I don't know that there's such a thing as too much physical intimacy. I mean, maybe. I need to think about that. I need to smoke on that for a minute. The warmth that we all share is intimacy. I don't think it is the same thing as intimacy. I think intimacy is understanding and knowing someone completely. I mean, maybe not completely, but like understanding the way someone is, their habits, their innermost ways. Knowing someone in a private way, in a way that most people don't. Knowing things about them, understanding them, being in close observance of them. All that mess. All that mess. Ugh, I saw my phone flash earlier. Okay, that person then that messaged me back. He said that is more than fair. But he used the wrong then. He said then fair, not than fair. Second time sliding into my DMs and he's already messed up. Oh well. It is what it is. Okay, good. I'm glad that that can make people happy. Of course, it's more than fair. Oh my goodness. Oh, I forgot I said this. Wait. You're pro Israel? I am pro my peace in the middle of a stressful day. I am pro not taking sides in this conflict and let everyone know how they and letting everyone know how they come across. I forgot I said that. I remember being like, I'm pro not being I'm pro my peace. Yeah, there can be too much interest. I think that's correct. I think that's a good orientation to have. Right? Isn't that the right orientation to have? Am I wrong? Shouldn't that be the way it is? Oh dear, Terry is a grammar Nazi. Um, mm, I don't think so. He's like Van, like then and Van. Then is past tense. Than is, comparison. Like I don't think I don't think there's anything. If English is your first language and the only language you speak, is it really a lot to ask? Ask. Is it really a lot to ask someone that they know their correct, choose from their twos and their thans from their thens? Is that a lot to ask? Especially if you're a man who you don't know a woman very well and you're kind of sliding in her DMs. Like, you're supposed to put your best foot forward. And now what I've seen is that, like, if, if this guy, God forbid, ends up impregnating me, right? I'm going to have his little illiterate children. These are the thoughts that run through my head. I'm like, oh no. What if I have children who don't pay attention in English? I worry. These are things I think about. I'm like, oh, I don't want that. I want better for my life. There could be more than that God. There could be more than that God could give you. Exactly. God is not the man for me. God is not going to send me a man who's illiterate. His little flat skull babies. No. No. What's a two-step? Isn't that a dance? Isn't that a type of dance? That's not going to matter to me. That don't impress me. I am being silly, but I'm not kidding about these thoughts going through my head. I do have these thoughts. I'm like, I'm picky, and I'm kind of like, little things like that really upset me about people. It's just, make an effort. Make an effort. Like, I don't know, like, you're gonna. I don't know. I don't know what his purpose is. I don't know exactly surmise his intentions. Um, I think maybe that too, Matthew, I have more than Jew. I am I am a single woman of a certain quality and a certain age. Okay, there's a roster. Okay, and when the right one saddles up in the right way, he will take the lead. But right now, it's like I'm in the season of keeping my options open. The reality is, it's like, who steps to the front, and leads is really kind of what I'm looking for. Like, who's actually interested in me, that I can actually see myself having some kind of life with, that I could actually do good things with, that, I'm going to be a good person for, and, is going to be a good person for me. So I have a lot of things to consider. I'm not an easy person to deal with. I mean, I think, you heard me there just reading like the message I got. I'm unbelievably critical in nasty little ways like that. Okay, so that's not nice to deal with, you know. We all have our dark side. You know, I'm not an easy person to deal with at all. So like I also have to keep my options open for that. Like, you know, not everyone can deal with me. How did you know that I liked Joel Osteen? How did you know that I was into him? How did you know? How did you know? Joel Osteen. Osteen. Joel Osteen. I don't know, something about him. I don't know what it is. My season. Yeah, I'm also I'm not a spring chicken anymore as well. Like I don't have time to be silly about this. You know, I do have to be serious about it, and it's like I'm not a little girl anymore. I'm not desperate either. You know, I'm just very serious about it. Like I don't want to get into anything that's not right, you know, for me and for the other person. And I'm trying to be very conscious of that. And part of that is, you know, doing things in the right way, like not putting all my eggs in one basket, not having expectations of men before they actually show that they're interested in being, you know, at that level with me as well. Like, again, I expect men to lead in this area. I'm not. So like two, you know, and even like the two love interests that I've talked about on like or processed with you, one of them has been dropped. Like I told him I'm not interested in him. So I don't know if he's heard that exactly because he was being really weird this week. Like he texted me to let me know that his friend had a heart attack and was dying. And I'm like, and he was also like, I've lost my two best friends in like the past couple months. And I'm like, why are you messaging me about this? Like I said, I'm sorry, you know, that's terrible. I'm really sorry. But like, I just like told you I don't want to see you anymore. I agree too, Matthew. I agree too. It's so manipulative. It felt gross. And this is the guy who was kind of giving me controlling vibes. And then like also on Sunday, he attends my church, even though like I sat with someone else we had a little lunch fundraiser for the youth. Like I said, like I sat with someone else, another man at church. You know, I sat with him during lunch and talked with him. It was his birthday the day before. He just turned 88. He's, you know, like a friend. But I was like, you know, thankful. Anyway, so yeah, I sat and talked with him during the lunch and then he left. But like the whole time, the guy was like at the table right next to me and was like looking over and eavesdropping. And then like once Norm got up and left, he came and sat down. So it was just like, and also he came like right up to me during lunch and was like, "Oh, do you want to get coffee?" And I was like, "No, I didn't want to get coffee." Like, I don't know. I just feel uncomfortable. Like I feel uncomfortable with him. And I'm like, you know, we only went out a few times, but again, like it's this little beta moves like that, like the little, like, oh, you know, my friend had a heart attack and is in the hospital and is dying, and like he had lost his other friend, like best friend. He didn't really lose the guy. He didn't die. He just like stopped being friends with him because the guy was like, stop evangelizing me to me. I'm tired of hearing about Jesus. and like went off of it on him and said like some other nasty things apparently. So I don't know, but like also like you're men and you're backbiting like this is gay. Like also like gay. Like why are you interested in me? Like go make up with your boyfriend. Like I don't want to hear about this. Like you're getting torn apart by this guy. Like, come on. It's so gay. I can't. I can't. I cannot. Like, and then like your other friend who's like had a heart attack, like that's more serious, obviously. I also asked him, I was like, are you able to see him? And he was like, yeah, I saw him last night. And I'm like, why are you messaging me about it? Like, I told you I didn't say I don't like you. I think with this guy, I might have to, though. I think I might have to if it doesn't, because he's making me uncomfortable. He's kind of like, and yet at the same time, like, I've had the conversation with him. I'm like, how much do you like actually like me? And he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, well, if you don't really like me that much, why are you acting so possessive of me? He's probably having an end of life crisis. He's not that old. No, Norm is old. I give Norm's in love with me too, but he's messed up. But I'm dealing with him in the right way. We'll just say that. Like the 88-year-old is in love with me, but this guy who I'm talking about is in his 50s, which is fine to me. He's very, it's not, but he's a bit too old to be the way he is. You know what I mean? He's just a bit too old to act and be the way he is. It's too much for me. It's too strenuous. Like for me, I'm like, how are you that old and like you still haven't calmed down yet? Like, because for me, I prefer somebody whose life pace is a little bit slower because mine is, I need somebody compatible, like somebody who isn't like go, go, go all the time, needing to do a million things, needing me to be involved because I can't do that. I can't live that life. I try to enjoy my life, but I can't be that on. It's just not within my nature. I need my downtime. I need my me time. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, this is the thing with women. It's difficult, because I mean, it's difficult. Like, no, I wouldn't, Matthew. I'd be worried senseless about him. I'd be worried that he's going to break something, and then I'm going to have to like nurse him back to health or like, yeah, I'd be too like, I would be stressed out and worried. I just know I would like every time I'd be like, why does he have to have this dangerous habit? I'd be like torn up every time he went out to go play with his toys. I'd be like, he has health care. So what? Do you think healthcare can repair things? It can only do so much once something bad has happened. You never really regain. Once something happens to your body like that, you never really regain the same thing before. If you break multiple bones, like the healing process, it's still going to be a ton of money that gets, lost. And it's just also him. He's going to be more fragile. He's going to have more pain in his body. Like, I would be concerned. I'd be worried. I'd be like, no, babe, don't. No, don't play dangerous games. No, keep my man safe. I want my man to be safe. Like, come on. That's adorable. Nothing's going to happen unless he's Evel Knievel. That isn't true. That is not true. That is not true. I do not love to worry, Matthew. I detest worrying, which is why I would not be in this situation. I don't like it. It upsets me. I don't want to be in that position. It would hurt. You'll let me ride one. I know you're excited about your new toys. Or wait, no, you got a new Jeep, was it? I don't remember. You should wear a helmet. I love my hell. I do not love my hell. I do not love my hell. I'm telling you straight up. I would not put myself in that hell where I'm going to be worried. He wears 2 helmets. My goodness, that's silly. Look, I don't like, I'm not into them. Like, I grew up, my dad had a motorcycle. We also had like 4-wheeler. I did enjoy riding that, but I almost was in a really bad, I almost drove off of a cliff. I was very close. That was a very scary experience for me. Like, it can get so dangerous so quickly, and even with the precautions, I'd still worry. It's difficult for me. So I'd just rather be with somebody who's not into all of that. Oh, hell yeah. The Jeep comes on Monday. What color is it? You'll see. I wear my red, white, and blue one on the road and my black motocross helmet on the trails. Well, that's nice. You got a patriotic helmet. What are you talking about, Vasco? I would change if it was a real reason. What are you talking about? I don't understand you. But anyway, everybody goes with white these days. Okay, white with a soft top. Interesting. Whatever. Sounds nice. It sounds nice. I'm excited for you. A new Jeep. You white. What are you going to name it? I guess you have to meet the vehicle before you can name it, but it's a he. Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. Yeah, I'm delicate. I don't like to worry. I don't like to worry about these things, and I know I would worry in that circumstance. I'd be like, I'm just saying, if there was an important person in my life, I wouldn't change because I would lose that person. He said if I would change if it was a real reason, but I don't know what you were responding to there. And now you're saying you wouldn't change? No, I mean, I wouldn't be worried about that, no. Because we're not going to have stairs. Are we? I can't wheel up the stairs. How am I going to wheel up the stairs? We're not having no stairs. He ain't getting away from me. He ain't going to get away from me like that. Like, imagine we're fighting and he's like, fine. And then he just walks upstairs and I'm like, oh, I assumed it would be an old man on the dirt bike. Y'all need to stop. Look, okay, I mean, for me, I want to be treated in a certain way. Okay. I want to be cherished. I want to be treated like the prize. I want to be, you know, I want to be treated a certain way. And men my own age, while some of them may feel that way about me, it's been my experience that generally a man that's a bit older is more likely to just automatically put me in that position, you know, because he is, more excited or more honored to have me. I also just prefer somebody who has a slower pace of life, A lot of men my own age, they're still in stages of their life where they're doing a lot of things, and um, they're just, they're a bit, the energy just doesn't match well. I'm not the typical 38-year-old woman. I don't have the abilities and capabilities of a typical 38-year-old woman, So, you know, being with a man that's older who's maybe had a little bit more life experience to me is a bit more attractive than someone who's not used to dealing with like reality as much. I find that the older people get, the more kind of aware they are of things, the more sympathetic they are to, what people go through in life. I've been dealing with my condition a long time, and I just find I get a lot more empathy and understanding, and I don't feel as different when I'm with people who've like experienced actual loss, actual grief, actual health things, or like seeing other people deal with them. So to me, it's more likely. But again, it's not like that's it. It's not like, I'm only interested in someone of a certain age. It's just, I've noticed that about older people in general, that they tend to be more able to deal with someone like me and deal with me in a way that's not condescending. So good. I haven't had this water in a long time. I used to drink it way more often back in the day. It's good. Good old essential water. I've always dated women younger than me, and they've been a lot more trouble. Yeah, a young man can still conquer the world for me, though. Well, who's saying I want the world conquered for me? I just want a simple life. I'm not really looking for that. I'd rather have somebody more settled who knows who they are, who's, just also looking for in me for the right reasons. I don't need somebody, I need somebody who's already conquered the world. I don't know. I'm not, it does, again, if I'm somebody younger than me who's going to do all those things, who meets the standard, then I'm not opposed. If I meet someone my own age or maybe slightly older that meets the standard, again, not opposed, definitely interested. If I meet somebody older, again, not opposed. I'm just being like, for me, realistic. And also it's like, I find, younger men are a lot less masculine. They're a lot less traditional. A lot of them have lived in ways that, not that old men aren't that way too, because a lot of them are scandalous as well. But I just find it's harder to have like a more traditional kind of, you know, situation, more traditional values, even more like conservative as well. Like, also like I'm a very strong-willed, stubborn person. I have my own mind. I'm very fiery and difficult and hard to lead. Like I'm aware of this about myself as a woman. It's part of why, I've had trouble. Because I'm not always cooperative. I am very independent, and I feel like an older man is more at the stage of life where he's not going to demand the things of me that a younger man demands. And um, at the same time, we'll still be able to relate as a man and woman, in the proper way. And I also feel like it's much easier for me to kind of defer to the wisdom and knowledge of somebody who's lived longer than me. It's easier for me to maybe hear things from someone older because I also have lived I have a lot of wisdom. I've lived a like very interesting, unique life. So when I consider that I need somebody who's like more advanced than me if I'm going to be like honestly comfortable being submitted to them at all, you know? Because to me, submission is not natural. It's only natural when I'm in the company of someone that makes it normal and easy. I don't fall into it easily. It does take, a bit for me to kind of settle into that. And these are things I know. Come back to my body. What the hell are you talking about? Come back to my body. Am I in my thoughts too much? Am I in my thoughts too much? Well, okay, let's just take this example. The guy I brought up earlier. No way in hell I would ever submit to that man. No way. Like, I already knew it. Like, I saw it right away. I was like, nope, not going to happen. But if I'm in the company of a man and it's like easy, because I trust him, because I know he's more sensible than me. I know he's more logical than me. I know he has a better like walk, or he's had a stronger walk with God than me. I see that in him. Like, it's a lot easier to just be like, okay, I trust. I trust. It's about trust. If I don't trust, it's like it's not there. So I think, yeah, I mean, a lot of this is just speculative. I think also too, I like the dynamic more of like being a bit, I'm, I'm a girl. I want to be spoiled. I want somebody who like is delighted to have someone like me who doesn't think of it as just normal, because I'm not just normal. I'm not. I'm there. They don't make them like me. I'm one of a kind. Okay. Like, I'm not basic. I'm interesting. I'm exciting. I'm pretty. Like, come on. I expect somebody to know that. What? I think that's pretty common. I want to be like that show Nanny. What with Fran Drescher? I did like her outfits. She was fabulous, but I don't think so. I don't want to marry a widower with kids. I don't want some guy with kids that I got to deal with. I don't know. Maybe I would be okay with that. It would really depend on the situation. It really would. I have to think about that. I do like kids. I know you can't really avoid this evil stepmother thing, that's going to be part of it, but I don't know. I still sometimes think I'm like, be a way to have kids without having to have kids. That'd be nice. Terry Drescher, y'all stop. Not Terry Ordinary. Not Terry Ordinary. No, never Terry Normal. Terry. No, it's like, come on. Like, I just, And I want somebody who feels ordinarily about me or thinks, takes me for granted, Like, come on. Get with it. I'm not just anyone. I'm Terry Strange. I'm Terry Strange. I'm a big deal. You will treat me as such. You will be honored to be in my presence. You will be proud to have me by your side. I will make you look good. If you had stepchildren, that's a huge thing. It's not easy being a step parent. No, I imagine it is not. Well, honored. Matthew, it's true. Honored. I want to be with somebody who's honored. Like, come on. Come on. Is that too much to ask? Am I delusional here? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Like, come on. Come on. It's not too much to ask. It should be unspoken, lady. I know it should be unspoken. But here I am speaking it into existence. It's just, like, I don't know. I don't want to say that. I mean, men my own age do that too as well. It does come up. I'm not opposed. It's just, I do think when I consider all things, it's like, I do think that somebody older might be a better match just energetically. Terry, you have to ask. I don't have to ask. I don't have to ask a thing. I don't ask. I expect. I don't ask. Something then. I need to go to bed. It's late. It's Friday. It's nice to stay up though and talk smack. But yeah, oh my, I've been on for 3.5 hours. How is that even possible? I don't know how these things happen. When did I go live? There was something happening. I went out, I had dinner. I think Nick's stream went a while, didn't it? It went a while. It was like longer than usual, and we didn't land safely. We did not land safely. That is so funny. This is satanic. What is satanic? I would just get you to think it was all your idea. What are you talking about? Axe. Let's see these nails. I have been waiting for them to kind of dry. This is an interesting polish. It's kind of like a jelly style polish. And there's like this jelly effect where it's like a thin kind of coat that's a little bit see-through. I like it just because it's a light color and kind of. It was over 3 hours. Yeah, it did go a while because I came in and out of it. I was late to it. I was late to the stream, like by an hour, because I was just working. I got kind of sucked into working. I forgot to turn it on. And then, yeah, then I like listened to it for a bit. It was dark though tonight too. It was like, it kept going off in different directions. Like, there was like the video of the guy getting stabbed and then shooting the people on the subway. Like, what is with all these subway videos as well? I wonder about that. Like, why are these things being released? And it's been correlated to like the National Guard being in the subway. But you notice that, like, I think somebody in the chat today was saying that they're only there till 6 p.m. and then they leave. So, when do you think it's most likely to happen that, you know, you're likely to see some people breaking the law or engaging in criminal activity in the subway? Like, you know, it's maybe going to be in those off hours. I don't know. It's a mess out there. It's in these like, I find these kind of videos just stressful. I don't usually watch them, so that was stressful. And then the guy was called in. So I like went out after that, you know, got my dinner and brought it home and turned it back on, and like then it was some guy called in talking about like predators, like child predators, and not children that are predators, people who prey on children. And I was just like, man, not nice topics at all. New York is the front line of the idiocracy. I don't know. Is the polish from Nordstrom? No. What was the nail polish I got from Nordstrom? No, I got that like nude polish and then the like light blue polish. That was the one I got from Nordstrom. This polish I think I ordered off of Amazon. It's one that I've like mixed too with a bit of like my own red polish because it was a very light pink. And so I've mixed more red into it to make it pinker so that it'll come out like this. CJ was a wretch. I assume that's the guy who called. That was awful. I don't know. Some of these people. It was just, I don't know. It's just a lot for a Friday night, you know. I'm like, I just stopped working, you know, I'm winding down. I'm thinking about like eating my indulgent meal and you know, just vegging out. And then I'm just like, I don't know, it's not the most pleasant thing to hear about, you know, and just, yeah. El Natural. I don't know what that means. From Grove Street. I don't know. Have I considered real estate investing and becoming a landlord? You know, I'm not there financially at this time. I don't make enough to really invest in real estate. So I don't know. It'd be nice. definitely would be nice, but that's not really something that's available to me at this time. And, I mean, I don't even know if that's what I would invest in, honestly, because unless I could afford to hire a management company, um, yeah, I just don't think I would want to deal with all of that. You know what I mean? I don't think I'd want to deal with all of the stress of it. So unless it was where I could invest, where I had enough to invest like that, I just see it being kind of, too stressful for me to really manage with my physical limitations and just other things I have going on. And also, it's just, being a landlord isn't all it's cracked up to be. It can be quite, disastrous sometimes. You have to deal with a lot of things. So, yeah, I just would be wary about that. Hmm. Yeah. Usually they are. Today it just wasn't. I like that too. I do like that about his style as well. They're fun, especially the Friday night. Like, you got some balls. What are you talking about? What do you mean? What did I say? What did I say? Now I'm all like, what? No, I don't. Do I? Did I say something ballsy? Did I say something like that takes ovaries? I remember that. I remember that being like a feminist, uh, a little feminist quote or saying that was going around was that takes ovaries. I don't feel like ovaries and testicles are similar at all. Nor do I understand I don't understand using balls to mean like courage or bravery either, because it's like, that's not where it comes from. Courage is of the heart. Courage is of the heart. Ugh. It is not of the gonads. So both of them are quite too many syllables. Yeah, that takes ovaries. Just having balls has always meant courage. Yeah. But why do I have some courage? Why does Vasco Vasconomi think that I have some courage? That's what I want to know. What did I say that was courageous? I had an interesting dream actually this morning. I woke up because my alarm went off and I remember turning it off, and then I just kind of rolled over and went back to sleep, and then I had this nightmare about being in this bar, and like the people that I knew that I was meeting there, they told me to like get out of there quickly because things were going to be going down. And then as I started to leave, I noticed that there was like fires already being sent around the place, and I couldn't get back to my place and I couldn't get out. Like there were fires coming from all directions and smoke, and I was just like terrified, didn't know what to do. And then I woke up. I always have like those really intense nightmares. Well, not always, but generally when I have those like really intense kind of nightmares, it's because I've fallen asleep after, my alarm goes off. I think my mind is just in a panic and doesn't want me to sleep. Nightmare in a bar, what sign is that? I don't know that it's a sign. Yeah, I don't know that it's a sign of anything. No, I didn't eat before bed. I don't eat before bed. And again, this was like after I woke up in the morning. So my alarm went off and then I just turned it off and went back to sleep. And then had this intense dream. I just find that when I do have nightmares, like that's usually the time. It's like because I've fallen back asleep after my alarm goes off. And I think my mind and body are like in a panic, not wanting me to sleep too much. Yeah, because you're like, I mean, I don't know exactly why, but yeah, it's just they're intense. So I had one of those this morning, and I went over it with you. Why would I do what people tell me to do? I don't know. It was a dream, Bosco. I mean, I trust my instincts. In the dream, I was like, something's going to go down. I need to get out of here. You know what I mean? I felt something going to go down. So I was like, they seemed like they were gangsters or something. It sounded like they were going to be setting fires or like having some kind of like confrontation or fight. So, and then I'm leaving and I'm seeing people setting fires to like the neighboring buildings and, the flames just kind of engulfing everywhere. Oh, dang, Matthew. Those are the worst dreams. I hate when I'm working in my dream. What is that? Like, that's wicked. It's like, no. You take enough of my time and then I'm like supposed to be off. I'm dreaming of all things and then here I am working. I used to have like these really terrible dreams like back in the day when I worked in the coffee industry. I remember like I would hear timers going off and I'd always be at the bar. I'd always be working behind the espresso bar and I'd always be like things would just keep, the cups would keep lining up and I'd for some reason not be able to keep up or like then I'd keep hearing like the beeping going off of the timers. It was awful. While I'm going all slow, can't keep up, or like people are bringing their things back. It's just, ugh. Ugh. I don't want to think about that when I'm not working. I even had a dream like that, like where I was working behind the coffee bar and like going through all that stress years after I left. No, that's interesting. I have a dream that I was a kid again. But in your current situation, no. I can't say that I have. I don't know. I don't remember doing so, but I was a kid, but in my current situation. I don't know. I do feel that way sometimes. I mean, do we ever really stop having that feeling of like being young, being children, not understanding it? I think that's just part of our life lived condition. We grow with time, but sometimes we just feel small inside. Did I know that Al Capone didn't blame himself for his crimes? He thought very well of himself. Okay. I mean, yeah. People, most people are that way though, aren't they? Most people justify what they do. Mm, yeah, it is a bit like that. Yeah, it's a bit like that. I've had it numerous times, this dream, where it is a bit like that. Awful, awful. God. Because there were some days that were, it would be like that. It would just be so stressful and like things would just be lined up out of control. I remember when I worked, I don't even want to get into that, but like some places, are so much busier than others and you have to keep up and like having the ability to do so, it's just limited. You do your best, but you have to pace yourself, you have to do things correctly and time things correctly. It's just a mess. Just a mess. Yeah, it is a loud job. It is. It is loud, yeah, because there's noise coming at you from all the different equipment and then the timers and then all the people. And you have to like talk to them, have conversations with them. You gotta deal with your coworkers. It's just, very the music in the cafes. Like, I don't know how I did it so long. Probably just, I mean, it was sheer willpower, I think, just willing myself to get up and do it. You know what? And the other night, too, somebody like tried to open my door like early in the morning. It wasn't last night, it was the night before. And like I was kind of in lava land. I was awake, but not like really aware. There are some loud people in my hallway. So yeah, that was like early in the morning. I was like, I hear the like door getting rattled. I'm like, I don't remember what I said. I like immediately was like, I shouted and like then my cat like jumped out of bed. Like, I don't remember what I shouted at them, but I was like, what the hell? I don't know. Like, I never used to have these problems when I mean, in my last place, there were a lot of problems in that building, but I never had this problem of people like doing that. So, but this place, I've had it happen numerous times. And it's like, I don't think people are like, I just think people are not paying attention to what door they're at a lot of the time because the hallway is so long. Oh, that's nice. It is nice to have waves. Yeah, well, you have to worry about neighbors in a different way with houses. It's like a different kind of worry. I mean, most of the time it's fine. Most of the time I'm perfectly content. But yeah, like just little things like that. It's like, why? How you feel about it? Did you jump out of the bed? Did mama shout and you jumped out of the bed? He was like, oh, hell no, she's shouting. I ain't putting up with her. Is that what she did? You were like, she's shouting. You were lying in bed, you were being sleepful and cuddly, and then she gets startled and she shouted and she startled you, didn't she? Mm-hmm. Interesting. Well, I do keep the door locked. Hmm. Oh my goodness, y'all. Door camera. And how am I going to install that? Oh, baby. You want up here? No, 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 no. No claws. No claws. Why are you digging your claws into me? I mean, that's fair, but like, am I gonna have access to it? Like, I guess I could play it back. You can get one that uses a battery if you need to. Oh, I don't know. I don't like pit bulls, Bosco. I can't deal with them. They have too much energy, and in an apartment, it doesn't make any sense to have one. You know, if I had a yard or like a junkyard or a meth lab, you know, or trailer park to protect. Okay, but I don't. It's not. They're too high energy, you know. And I've got a number of neighbors who have. I don't want to say a number, but I have a couple of neighbors who have them, and they really are. They don't belong here. Oh, that's interesting. Well, maybe I could set something like that up. I wouldn't mind that. Okay. Okay. Well, that's something that would be better. I just wonder, like, is it? Hmm. So they'll record it. Plus, they only eat people. I don't, you know, hi, baby. If you want up here, you got to jump up here properly. You can't be fussy putting around about it. You got to just do it. Do you want up here? Don't fuss about it. Just do it. Come on. If you want on my lap, you better stop fussing and just jump up here. Come on. Stop fussing. You fussing? Come on, baby. I see you want it. I see you want to get up here. I see it. Come on. Come on, baby. Look at all that lap. Look at all the lap she got. She got all the lap. You can do it. Come on. Come on, baby. I was a neighborhood dog. Wow. Okay. Stop. Hmm. That's funny. I know when my deliveries arrive because we've got like a system in the building. Actually, I have a delivery that came today that I haven't picked up yet. There's like a locker system that they have. So when you get a delivery, it's put into a locker and then you have to put in your code to get it out in my building. So I mean, I enjoy, there's so many things about my building that I enjoy. But yeah, get a Chihuahua. Yeah. That way, that would be great. A Chihuahua. I do love Chihuahuas. I do love the Chihuahuas. Would you like a Chihuahua? What if I got you a Chihuahua? Come on. Come on. You want Mama to get you a Chihuahua? Come on. Come on, you can do it. You know you want it. Come on. You want some of this lap. You keep showing me you want the lap. Why are you not coming up here? There we go. There he is. There he is. You don't want me to get no dog, do you? I can't take care of a dog anyway. I can't physically do it. It's too much. I watched my neighbor's like little teacup Yorkshire Terrier a couple years ago, and it was just so much to manage. Um, yeah, I was thinking about getting a dog prior to that, considering not like immediately, but I was considering like, in a couple of years, I'd like to get a dog. And after that experience, I realized a dog would just be too much. Oh, you're sweet. You're so sweet. Do you see that, y'all? I put my lips out. He was like, rub. You're so sweet. You're so sweet boy. You're so cuddly. Oh, look at him. Yeah, I gotta go to bed too. I don't know. I'm still up in a Chihuahua in an apartment. Yep. Yeah, and we're doing all right together. We're doing all right. But I do like the idea of getting a camera in the peephole because I can't even see in there. So if I had an app for that, that would probably be the best thing. I know I am making too much noise. I need to go to bed. All right, y'all. You have a good night. Matthew, farewell. Vasco, S.A. Brady. I don't know. Bubblelandia is still here. I don't know who else is watching, but thanks for being here. We'll be back another time. Good night.